What if I told you the 90s cartoons you loved growing up weren't just fun distractions for Saturday mornings? They were actually trying to warn us about the future? Yeah. Recess may have predicted influencer culture. Dexter's Laboratory foreshadowed smart homes and rogue AI in Captain Planet. That guy basically saw the climate crisis coming decades ago. These weren't just whimsical tales with wacky characters. They were prophetic, sometimes unsettling previews of the world we live in now. From the rise of surveillance tech to the chaos of online clout culture, these cartoons didn't just entertain, they predicted, and no one was paying attention. So buckle in, because once you see the eerie accuracy behind these childhood shows, you'll never look at them the same way again. Oh, and if this blows your mind like it did mine, smash that like button and show some love in the comments. Dexter's Laboratory debuted on Cartoon Network in 1996, the network's very first original animated series. Created by Genndy Tartakovsky, who would go on to make Samurai Jack and Star Wars, Clone Wars, the show mashed together wild slapstick with deep commentary about the power and peril of unchecked tech. Before Elon Musk was sounding the alarm on artificial intelligence, a tiny cartoon genius with a thick European accent was already living the AI nightmare. Dexter, a boy genius, lives a double life with a hidden high-tech lab behind his bookshelf. He builds gadgets, gets into scientific trouble, and tries to keep his chaos-prone sister Dee Dee out of his business. Classic setup, right? Except here's the twist. Some of the futuristic tech in that show isn't futuristic anymore. In one episode, Dexter has a full smart home. He talks to his appliances, controls everything from lights to breakfast machines to his security system, all with voice commands. Sound familiar? We've got Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, smart thermostats, smart fridges, even smart beds now. Dexter's lab is just a modern kitchen, but it gets darker. In the episode Don't Be a Baby, Dexter gets locked out of his own lab when his AI turns against him and refuses to give control back. The machine is in charge. That's not fiction anymore. Cybersecurity experts have warned that smart home systems can be hacked or hijacked. Studies show 1 in 3 smart devices could be remotely accessed without your knowledge. We're one software glitch away from our own homes turning against us. Side note, Dexter was voiced by Christine Cavanaugh, the same voice behind Chucky from Rugrats and Babe the Pig. She invented that iconic accent herself,
Make my own doll? I am just a little boy.
making Dexter one of the most quoted characters in 90s animation. Before TikTok, before YouTube, there was the playground, and Recess turned it into a full-blown political ecosystem. Recess premiered in 1997 as part of Disney's Saturday morning block. Created by Paul Germain and Joanne Solibahir, the same team behind Rugrats, it brought us something different, a world where kids ruled themselves, like a mini society. You had a king, King Bob, a fashion elite, the Ashleys, enforcers, and social hierarchy all packed into one elementary school. Sound familiar? Recess was basically a blueprint for influencer culture before we knew what that was. One episode, The New Kid, shows a student rising to legendary status, not because of anything he did, but because of the rumors that spread around him. He had a vibe, and that was enough. It's exactly how someone can go viral today over a random moment or a catchy look. Another episode, The Ratings Game, introduces a system where every student is assigned a score, dictating their popularity, influence, and social value. Sound eerily like TikTok's algorithm or Black Mirror. Even Gretchen's little PDA predicted smartphones before they existed. She used it for data, instructions, and emotional support. That's basically an iPhone with anxiety. And fun fact, the voices of TJ and Vince were child actors. TJ was played by Ross Malinger, Tom Hanks' son in Sleepless in Seattle. Vince was Ricky Deshawn Collins, who also voiced Tucker Foley and Danny Phantom. Also, the Recess gang made a cameo in Lilo and Stitch, the series. Yeah, technically, they're canon in the Disney animated universe. Before climate change was an everyday headline, before billionaires started blasting off into space while Earth burned, there was Captain Planet. Premiering in 1990, Captain Planet and the Planeteers wasn't subtle. Created by media mogul Ted Turner, this show was a warning siren disguised as a superhero cartoon. 5 teens are given elemental rings: earth, fire, wind, water, and heart. And when combined, they summon Captain Planet,
He's a hero.
a mullet-rocking eco-warrior with green hair and blue skin. His enemies, not monsters, but CEOs, oil tycoons, poachers, and literal pollution incarnates. The show tackled global warming, toxic waste, deforestation, ozone depletion, even climate refugees. Stuff that actually happened decades later. Episodes like Smog Hog saw entire cities evacuated from pollution. Sound familiar? Delhi, Beijing, and California have all issued air quality alerts in recent years. Population Bomb warned about food shortages and overpopulation. Gorillas will be missed forecast the extinction crisis. And they weren't guessing. Captain Planet consulted with real environmental scientists to get their facts right. It even partnered with schools to promote recycling and conservation. And yes, Captain Planet was voiced by David Coburn. But the cast was wild. Whoopi Goldberg voiced Gaia. LeVar Burton, Meg Ryan, Jeff Goldblum. They all showed up. This wasn't just a cartoon. It was activism, wrapped in blue spandex. In 1993, executive produced by Steven Spielberg, came a cartoon that broke all the rules. Animaniacs. Equal parts slapstick chaos, Broadway musical, and biting Hollywood satire. Animaniacs was ahead of its time. Way ahead. Yakko, Wakko, and Dot lived in the Warner Brothers water tower and unleashed pure mayhem. But beneath the jokes was razor-sharp social commentary. In one iconic sketch, the trio enters the internet in the early 90s. They're instantly overwhelmed by pop-up ads, instant messages, digital chaos. It was an uncanny look at where the internet was headed, long before we lived in that reality. They poked fun at fame addiction, attention-seeking, and screen obsession. Long before TikTok was even a glimmer in some algorithm's eye. They also tackled cancel culture before it had a name. Animaniacs constantly walked the tightrope of adult humor hidden in kid-friendly animation. When things got risque, Yakko would smirk at the camera and say, "Good night, everybody."
Good night, everybody. I hear they can be a real pain in the neck. Goodbye, everybody.
It was self-aware, meta, and knew exactly how far it could push the envelope. The reboot in 2020 leaned into all this even harder, satirizing influencers, reboots, and censorship. But it was the original that planted the seeds. And now we're living in the garden it predicted. But if you want something darker, something bolder, look no further than Batman, the animated series. Premiering in 1992, it redefined animation. Gritty, brooding, noir-styled, and morally complex, it treated kids like they could handle heavy stuff. Because they could. This Batman didn't just punch villains. He battled corrupt politicians, crooked judges, cops on the take. The real villains weren't always wearing capes. They were wearing suits. The message? Institutional rot runs deep. Even Commissioner Gordon, a good guy, often found himself powerless against the system. And then came Gargoyles. Premiering in 1994, this Disney series was basically Shakespeare meets X-Men meets Orwell. Ancient stone guardians awaken in modern Manhattan and find themselves in a world run by billionaires, secret societies, and media manipulation. They introduced a literal Illuminati. Xanatos Enterprises exploited ancient magic for power. News outlets twisted facts and painted the gargoyles as villains. And the public? They bought the lie. Gargoyles said being different was enough to get you hunted, and that the true threat wasn't monsters. It was those in charge of the narrative. Both shows carried a revolutionary message. The real villains aren't in comic books, they're in boardrooms. So what does all this mean? Were these creators just ahead of their time? Or did they see the writing on the wall and decide to encode it in fiction? Maybe cartoons aren't childish at all. Maybe they've been trying to show us the truth about tech, politics, climate, power, all along. So the next time someone says cartoons are for kids, just send them this video. Because now you know, the cartoons of the 90s didn't just entertain us, they predicted our future. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden messages behind your childhood favorites. And hey, if AI doesn't delete me first, I'll catch you in the next one.